These people. Jankowicz, more like Janko half-wits. I workshopped that for hours. It's tales of Russian collusion from Biden's Department of Delusion. And yet more proof the head of Biden's disinfo board is out of her frickin' gourd. I speak of Nina Jankowicz, a.k.a. crazy TikTok show tunes lady, a.k.a. head of Homeland Security's newly created Disinformation board. If her videos were any nuttier, she'd come out of an elephant's ass. Because they ate peanuts. The Washington Examiner uncovered more of her old tweets, and it turns out in 2016 she had no problem pushing the since-debunked claim in that Trump had ties to Russia's Alpha Bank. She shared a tweet from Hillary Clinton about the bogus claims a week before the 2016 election. That quote tweet, a pile of garbage from Slate, and read in part, "It's time for Trump to answer serious questions about his ties to Russia. Trump has a secret server. It was set up to communicate privately with a Putin-tied Russian bank called Alpha Bank." Yeah, the server was so secret, it didn't exist. Turns out Jankowicz spreads false claims the way Brian Stelter smears peanut butter on his naked chest. With both hands and a big smile across their face. I hope that's burned into your brain. In recent years, her greatest hits, including debunked stuff and the infamous Steele dossier, as well as doubting the Hunter laptop story. If this was 20 years ago, she'd have you investing with Bernie Madoff. And the origins of those BS Alpha Bank claims are now the focus of the trial of Michael Sussman, the Clinton-connected lawyer charged with lying to the FBI when he brought them a tip about a possible Trump-Russia link. Clinton-connected. Our condolences for his upcoming suicide. I'm joking. For his sake, I am, Rob. So, even if this lady, the head of the Ministry of Truth, is incompetent, what if she was confident? Isn't it just a bad idea, even if they're good at it? It shouldn't exist.
No, it shouldn't exist. It's a terrible idea. And these people, remember, the book 1984, they made a movie out of it. They're trying to make the movie look like a documentary.
Right.
And, what these people are trying to do, and she said before, they want to edit your tweets. So it's not that they want to control everything that's going on. It's not that they want the truth out there. They want their version of the truth out there. And these are the same people that are telling you that there are 100 different genders. These are the same people that are telling you that men can get pregnant.
Right.
And so these are the people that want to be in charge of the truth of this country. It's completely absurd.
No, they are. Her idea of what a fact has only become relevant in like the last 7 or 8 months.
Yeah.
She's just a walking Twitter trend, Kat. I am worried about her because we have not seen her anywhere. It's like she fell off the face of the earth, like Mary Poppins got stuck in a tree. Are you worried?
Yeah, because she's someone who clearly has an interest in musical theater, and those people don't go out.
No, maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. What is musical theater?
Exactly. I don't know because I'm cool.
You know what? I have a feeling that right now Guy is burning up inside.
No, I am really cool.
Actually
I am really cool.
Just like,
I'm sorry.
musical theater,
I'm
Chicago's
sorry, but
musical
look
theater.
how cool I am. I look so cool. No, I do. I look like your dad's sassy, cool paralegal / your soon-to-be new stepmom. Hide your dad.
So
Hide your dad.
she just did violence to half of this set.
Yes.
You have
Actually, that is a homophobic hate crime.
2 gay guys on set. You're gonna come after musical theater. We see you, Kat. We see you.
And I'm having a meeting with HR right after this.
You can go ahead and do that, but they'll be so intimidated by how cool I am.
Yes.
As is everybody. Like, music, like, that's the worst thing. Like, did you see she tweeted? She was talking about how in Twitter she wants verified checkmark people to add context to tweets. I don't want anybody associated with the government doing that. And the second person on that list would be someone who likes musical theater.
Right.
Guess I'm not getting that job.
I can't even think of one musical, Tyrus, that I actually liked. Like I've sat through some, and it's it's not pleasant. Does that? I guess that makes me incredibly heterosexual.
No, like.
Right? Huh? I love me some women.
That was convincing.
Yeah, was that convincing?
That was really convincing.
I went to, what's it called, Exodus for 6 years. I don't know what it's called.
Oh, not Exodus. I might have had a conversion therapy joke. I was like on the first. That is hysterical.
Thank you very
Wow.
much.
Yes.
Thank you very much. You didn't even know what I was talking about.
So privileged to be on set for that.
Tyrus, so anyway, what do you think? Where is she? What's going on?
I feel like anything I say right now is going to be held against me. So I like
Say my
opera.
name.
Nina's watching.
Yeah, I know. You know,
It finally landed. It finally landed.
I mean,
And look at her
that's
face.
a
She's
lot.
like scowling at
Yeah,
Tyrus.
well,
Like, right? Look at her
yeah.
face.
Yeah, I've seen that look before. At least on 4 different occasions. There is no one that can do this job.
No, exactly.
There's no one that can do this job. There's no one that's not going to push their own biases. And if it was a Republican board, it would be the same thing. The only thing I would ask is that they would pick somebody not a walking oxymoron to the whole idea. I mean, she picked everything that was a lie and fought to make it a truth. I think you can be on the wrong side of something.
Right.
We've all been there. But you need to be able to acknowledge that. Like, yes, I thought that Trump was connected to those 2 banks, and I was wrong. Suddenly, you have a little more caveat. Like, okay, you know what? There's a reasonable person. But that's not what they do. They just like, it must have been a different bank. They just keep going.
Yeah.
And
We got the wrong
and
bank.
going. It's like when you do go to a musical and they say 3 acts, when you get to the 2nd act, you're like,
Tell me about
what
it.
else is there left to sing about?
Oh, yeah. You know,
Well, first of all,
wait, I got to get Guy in here, because Guy, you know, when I'm at home watching NASCAR with my babes, and it's just like, I'm wondering, it's like, we just found out about this lady. She must be doing disinformation for years before we found out. That's exactly what I said to my babes while watching NASCAR.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I have my own keg machine. You should come by.
Keg machine?
Yeah. Why don't you should come by after work. It'll just be me and my babes. Oh, look, the babes aren't here, Guy. What do we do?
Like,
Guy will help you handle those babes.
so.
They had to get up early, Guy. I guess it's just you and me in this bottle of champagne in the hot tub. Oh, my maid's out. We have no clothes. I should stop now, huh?
So, no, I'm building an HR case right now. It's like, keep going. Just keep going.
That's okay. HR understands that we're artists.
Yeah.
Just not musical theater artists.
So, I want to agree with something that Tyra said and disagree with one thing. He said no one can do this job, and I agree with that. The job should not exist.
Right, yeah,
It should not exist at all. I'm actually glad, though, that Biden or whoever it was picked her, because she is so self-discrediting. She's this wild, crazy-eyed Mary Poppins cartoon character who I think is preferable to someone who might sort of seem more serious and more even-handed. She isn't that.
That's
and it's
true.
so obvious. I think that actually does us all a service.
That is true. Kind of like if they actually had somebody that could fit the bill, then we wouldn't see how absurd the whole idea is. Excellent point, Guy. That's why it's Guy Town. Up next, did
Breaking all
Garland
kinds of
make
news
up
today.
a phony crisis to label parents as ISIS?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.